Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us for our second in a series of 6 winemaker panel discussions hosted by the Consorzio of Franciacorta this month of June as part of our first Digital Franciacorta Festival. My name is Maymata Aliyah, and I am the Educational Ambassador for Franciacorta. I will be moderating this and all future discussions, and we certainly hope that you will join us. By way of a very brief introduction for anyone who may not have joined us last week or may not be familiar with Franciacorta, inherent in the name is A, the region of production, B, the methodology of production, and finally, the wine itself. So the Franciacorta production zone is a rather compact amphitheater-shaped wine region. It sits at the southern border of Lake Iseo in the Lombardy region. Franciacorta is always a sparkling wine that obtains its bubbles by way of a second fermentation in the bottle. And this method results in a wine with very fine and very elegantly textured bubbles due to the extended maturation the wine receives. With the majority of its vineyards today being farmed organically, this region has been a leader in embracing research as a means of better understanding the true benefits of biodiversity. Taking us through today's discussion on biodiversity are three producers that have been at the forefront of the research in the region. Starting off, I'm introducing in no particular order. We're starting off with Silvano Brascianini from the Barone Pizzini Winery. Silvano is the general manager of Barone Pizzini Winery and also the current president of the Franciacorta Consorzio. And even though the Pizzini farming company was originally founded in 1870, it was really only after the war that the focus moved on to viticulture. And as of 2002, the Barone Pizzini Winery became the first to release an organic Franciacorta on the market. Second, we're joined by Laura Gatti from the Fergatino Winery. Fergatino Winery is a family affair. Laura and her brother Matteo are the current owners of the winery, which was established by their parents, Roberto and Andreina, in 1990. Prior to establishing Fergatina, Roberto had spent 20 years working at various wineries in the area. Both Laura and Matteo hold degrees in enology, and Laura is the current vice president of the Franciacorta Consorzio. And last, but certainly not least, is Francesca Moretti from the Bella Vista Winery. Since September 2020, Francesca has been the president of the Terra Moretti Vino Group, where her father, Vittorio Moretti, passed the reins of the company he built over to her. The group includes the Bella Vista and Conta di Castaldi wineries in Franciacorta. Francesca is also a trained enologist and has been actively involved in the wine sector since 1997 and was the CEO of Terra Moretti since 2016. So thank you all three of you for joining us today and for being our willing panelists. And without further ado, I would like to start by kicking off our discussion today with posing my first question to you, Francesca. Before we even start really digging into biodiversity, let's define it. What is biodiversity?
So biodiversity, from an etymological perspective, the term biodiversity is an abbreviation of biological diversity. I believe we could define it as a variety of all life form in a chosen ecosystem, being it managed or unmanaged.
Wonderful, thank you. Is biodiversity, is it only measured in the soil, or are you measuring it also above ground? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
From what concerns the soil biodiversity, we have conducted research in Franciacorta that resulted in a book published. The name of the book is Impact of Agricultural Practices on Biodiversity of Soil Invertebrates. We're exposing the work done, and we will use the knowledge acquired to guide us.
Wonderful. So the research has been on what's underground. Will there be a similar research project done for biodiversity's impacts above ground as well?
Yes, that will be our next step. It will take some time to accomplish our goal. The research takes a long time. Our decision, though, is firm and solid we are certain that is the only way to reach our purpose.
Wonderful. Thank you. I like that. Our decision is firm and solid. I like that. Wonderful. So my next question is to you, Silvano. I mentioned this a little bit in the introduction, but Barone Pizzini was the first winery that was certified organic. What percentage of Franciacorta region today is practicing or certified organic?
Yes, today there is more than 71% of vineyards surface in Franciacorta under the European rule for organic. This means are more than 4,900 acres.
Wow.
It's very, very important.
That's really impressive. So Francesca mentioned the biodiversity research that was done. Can we talk a little bit more about that? And if you're comparing the soils under conventional viticulture and organic viticulture, do you see a difference in the soil biodiversity, and how are you measuring for it?
No, not as the university they did. So it's about do a classification about everything is alive underground. Can be worms, can be spider, can be mushroom, can be bacteria, everything. So it's all about anthropology and checking how much there is. It doesn't matter the quantity. It's very important the difference, the richness for biodiversity. More variety are present, are very good results.
Okay, that's really interesting. So aside from just practicing organic viticulture, what else is necessary to achieve this healthy biodiversity in the vineyards?
The classic approach is cover crop, market disruption, but it's extremely important to understand we are not managing a garden of golf courses. It's about to manage something alive and understand every position, every vineyard, every hills must be different, and what the nature offer, it's everything. It's always important. So keep the focus on managing something which is alive, and biodiversity means every corner will be different, but we are not looking for a standard. We are looking for improved biodiversity. That's important.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's a great point, actually, that it doesn't have to always be the same. We're really looking for a large diversity. Thank you. My next question is to you, Laura. So for a region to have decided to take on that's a really big commitment, actually, that you're showing as a region. So what was the impetus for the Consorzio to pursue this research? And maybe you can speak, were all the wineries involved, or what percentage of wineries were involved in this initiative?
Thank you. You have to know that Franciacorta winemakers really want to take care about the biodiversity of our wine area and to the safeguard of the reservoir of biodiversity of the area. That's why, as Consorzio of Franciacorta, we have decided altogether to invest in these studies. And the studies had the main target, the main goal, to have a complete knowledge of the actual biodiversity of the area, to be able to preserve this biodiversity and to improve this biodiversity. This is very important to guarantee a good quality of life in the soils, and also, why not, a good quality of life for people living in the area. So first of all, this is awareness, a very important awareness about the necessity to preserve we are so lucky. We have a natural heritage that's very important to preserve. That's the main aim for this study. And the study has been done, and we continue to study in this direction, step by step. We are trying to know better and better the situation and the state of art of the soils. And a lot of wineries have decided to be part of this ambitious project.
That's wonderful. So who did you collaborate with to conduct this research? I mean, you couldn't just have done it through the Consorzio.
No, we want to be sure that our studies and our ideas, has to be, these studies has to be certificated. So we've asked the cooperation, first of all, from the university. So the biggest cooperation was between the Consorzio and the University of Brescia and Milano. And for a big study, very important study that lasted 5 years from 2014. And the aim of this study was to verify the population of the arthropods in our soils. So we have investigated more than 100 different soils coming from 100 different vineyards. And we found around 20 different groups of arthropods. You have to know that, as Silvano explained us, it's not important to have a lot of arthropods, but different kind of arthropods. It means that the biodiversity is improving and the quality of life in the soil is there's a big variety of life in our soils. So to find 20 different groups was a big surprise. And we've also found that this quantity of and quality of arthropods increase where we have an organic approach to the viticulture. So we are a big group of farmers going into the direction of biodiversity and organic viticulture.
Wonderful. That's great. So I'm going to follow up with a question, and I'm going to pose that question to all of you. So now that you have all of this information that you have about the importance of having all of this biodiversity, will you be changing some of the approaches in your vineyards, or in the way that you're practicing viticulture in your vineyards, given the knowledge that you now have that you maybe didn't have 5 years ago?
Yeah, for sure, this study can help all the farmer to find the right direction in the approach to the viticulture. So we have to know that it's very important to respect this heritage, as I told you. So everybody of us is really taking care of this richness, and the big challenge for the future is to preserve and maybe be back here again in, I don't know, 10 years or 20 years and say that we are more rich than now in this biodiversity. So that's very important. You have to come here and visit us and walk with us into the vineyards. Even now, it's very interesting and very beautiful to walk into the vineyards and smell the perfume, see the green, the spontaneous grass that grow, and these small arthropods walking together with us. So that's the challenge for the future. Having a well-being for quality into the wines, for sure, and quality in our lives, and for visitors too.
Wonderful. Yes, I can attest to that. And I hope that the beautiful backgrounds we all have, I really wish I was actually physically in my background right now. Unfortunately, I'm in my apartment in Manhattan. I hope that our backgrounds are inspiring everyone to the actual beauty of this area. I'm going to ask the same question to you, Francesca, in terms of, will you be making any changes both at Bella Vista, Conta di Castelli, with some of the outcome that you've learned from this biodiversity research?
I'm agree with Laura. I think that all of us we are doing all the same things because our first goal now is respect the soil. So we are working to preserve the life of the vineyards. Because if you have the vineyards in a good situation, you can have the best quality in the winery. So it's very important to go in this way all together.
Wonderful, thank you. And last but not least, Silvano, what about you? Any changes you'll be making now that you have all the, not all the answers, but certainly some answers on the importance of biodiversity?
Yeah. Of course, we change it because when you have more information, you go deep in study, you learn, there is a different approach, new things you can do. And always nature give back your investment. That's absolutely important. At the beginning of this study, in every winery, the professor went to the owner and they always ask only one simple question. In which vineyard do you get your best grape? Okay, and a winemaker is always 100% sure to answer. I know from my 20, 30, 40, 50 years experience, that's the vineyard where I can have the best quality. And always after the study, the vineyard with the best quality is a vineyard with richer biodiversity. So we are going to prove the connection between the life, the nature approach, the biodiversity and the quality of wine. And of course, day by day, we are learning how this grass, even this bad variety, we until 10, 20 years ago, we were looking to keep clean and avoid this confusion, and how this confusion is extremely important also in order to keep busy mosquitoes, insects who can focus on our flower, on our berries, and keep busy in different things. So at the end of the day, your goal is more life, better life in the vineyard, and better grape. And of course, it is the best result because it's a win-win strategy. The question was, can we do better for nature at the same time, for the planet, of course, at the same time get a better grape and better wine? And the answer is yes. But we need to learn the approach because always with scientific information and data, you can understand the better way to continue have a better quality again. At the end of the day, better quality and better planet. So what's best?
Wonderful. Yeah. No, I like when you say it was a win-win situation because you get a better environment and you're also getting better fruit. So yes, there's multiple motivation for farmers because I'm sure also trying to get everybody on board is not always the easiest task. I mean, even if some of your producers are on board, it still is an effort, especially from the point of view of the Consorzio, to encourage the other growers to also want to follow suit. So I think it's really, really interesting. Yeah, and I love also what you're saying, that when you're creating all of this biodiversity in the vineyards, you're giving other outlets for some of the pests to go to. So instead of attacking maybe the grapes, they're attacking something that they're more accustomed to. So yeah, that's actually great. So at this point, I would love to open it up to any questions we may have from the audience. I don't know, I know we're streaming live on Facebook. I know we've got some questions coming through on our chat here. So Constance, do you want to put some of those questions forth for our panelists?
Sure. So we have just a few. The first is from Silvano. What inspired you to become the first organic winery in Franciacorta?
We are not, we weren't looking to be the first. Just we were looking to learn, to understand the best way to get quality. As I said before, is a win-win strategy, but 20 years ago was not so clear. We just follow our idea, our sentiment, our feeling to find a way to get better quality and better respect for our soil and the planet. So at the beginning it was not easy, but today we are lucky because Franciacorta is a small region, and today more than 70% of the vineyard surface is under certification. And this is a great opportunity for the producer to share experience and knowledge. Every day we learn something, but if you also have opportunity to learn from your friends, your colleague, your step will be more easy.
Okay, we actually just had another question come in for Silvano. Is it true that the grape herba mat is supposed to help fight climate change? Sorry.
Sorry, what about climate change?
Is it true that the grape herba mat is supposed to help fight climate change?
Maybe, we hope so, but so when you start to looking for a new variety, it's always for quality. That's the key point. Also, talking about the herba mat, we were really curious about the history of this variety, because we know there is a book who talk about the variety in Brescia, written in 1570, so 5 centuries ago. Herba mat is a variety white grape who late harvest. Ripening, sorry, we harvest normally the first week of October. So this means 6-8 weeks later than Chardonnay or Pinot. So yes, can be a help in climate change, but you should remember climate change doesn't mean necessarily every year is it to be warmer. Climate change means every year is different. So give you an example, you can have winters like 2014 was very fresh and rainy, and 1 year later, winters like 15, very hot and dry. So the evidence of climate change are every difference between year and more powerful phenomena like hailstorm, free frost, and something like that.
Great. So Laura, maybe you can answer the next one. Is there a biodynamic tendency going on in Franciacorta?
Biodynamic is not so popular at the moment in the region. There's a few wineries that are approaching to this viticulture, kind of viticulture. But generally speaking, as we are talking during this event, there's an approach to the viticulture and to the respect of the soil that's behind and beyond all the different viticultural practice. I mean, we want to preserve our soil. So we perfectly know that our wineries are a unique part together with the uniqueness of the soil and of the wine area. And this was in the past, this is now, and this must be for the future. So nobody wants to destroy what we are creating and what our parents created for us. So part the approach, organic or biodynamic, we are really trying to build the biodiversity and the quality in our wine area, for wine, for people, and for everything that surrounds us.
Great. Francesca, maybe you can answer the next. What are the major pest threats in the region? And do you utilize pheromone systems to reduce pests?
Sorry, I don't understand. Sorry.
What are some of the major pests, some of the animals that you have to combat in the vineyards, that you might be that are a threat to the vineyards?
We are working on it. Yes, sure. We are trying to do our best to preserve our vineyards, and we are work not from a long time. It's 3 years that we are work in biodynamic.
You're practicing biodynamic?
Yes. From
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think did we answer that question, Constance? What are some of the pest challenges?
Yeah, the major pest threats of the region, and does anyone utilize pheromone systems to reduce the pests?
Okay, Silvana, do you want to answer that?
Do you want to answer?
Probably the main one is the Plasmopora viticola, peronospora. I don't know English, peronospora.
Stai per ospolo.
And yes, we also utilize pheromone for the sexual confusion in order to avoid to use a pesticide. It's more than 2,000 hectares right now under the using the pheromone. Yes.
Great. The next question for Francesca, are the Bella Vista vineyards certified organic today? And when did you start the process?
We started 3 years ago.
Okay.
In Franciacorta, we started 3 years ago, yes.
Okay, great. And the last for now is for Lara. Fergentina is always innovating, and a lot of us are familiar with the square-shaped bottle you use for your wines. Are there any new surprises that you are working on?
So you have to know that the square bottle is mainly was invented by my brother, first of all, and part the aesthetical reason the bottle has has been done for the quality on the wine. So every day we work on this direction. So improve the quality. That's the news we try to give to our customer every day. But we are also working for something new at the winery. You also have to know that we need a long time to produce Franciacorta. We need time to age the wine and to show the news to the customers. So there's something new, but it's really too early to talk about. Maybe next time.
Perfect. Well, I think that's it for questions. So thank you. I'm going to pop off.
Great, thank you, Constance. So that wraps up our discussion for today on biodiversity. I think I certainly learned a lot. I always learn a lot when I speak with producers, and I can attest. I am, as I say, I'm not Italian and I'm not from the region, but I can attest to the beauty of the region and all the amazing work that you all are doing there. I think also the region having such a high percentage of participation in the Consorzio also really sort of enables everybody to move the ship in one direction. And I think that direction and quest towards biodiversity is admirable. So thank you for sharing that with us. So before closing off, I would just like to say that this was our second in the series of our panel discussions. We will have a few more coming up. They will be on Mondays and Wednesdays, and here we have our upcoming schedule. So I hope that you will join us on Wednesday, June 16th, same time, same place. We will be kicking off our next 4 webinars. We're really talking more on the various styles of Franciacorta, and our first discussion will be on Satin, which is a proprietary wine to the region. I think it's absolutely delicious, and I hope that you will join us to learn a little bit more about it. And until then, thank you very much. Our panelists for the Satin discussion will be Gregorio Villa from Santa Lucia Winery, Gianluca Cittadini from La Montina Winery, and Camilla Alberti from Castelvedere. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.